Hello everyone, welcome to a new video on the channel. I'm Adam and this is a ranking video of series 1 of the original series of Ben 10. So basically the original series is the one that came out in I believe 2005 going along to 2009 maybe? Yeah, that original series, the one I grew up with, the one that many other people grew up with as well. And it's just going to be series 1, so the first 13 episodes. This is my opinion, so if your opinion is different, please in the comments below what your favourite episode from that series is. And with that being said, let's get into the ranking, let's get right into it. Wait, before we get into it, let's jump back out of the bandwagon and just acknowledge the fact that me and Lucas did try so many times to try and get a live stream or collaboration on this. However, it failed so many times to the point that we both got fed up of it and decided to just record separate videos. So on my channel will be the ranking of my opinion of the ranking on the episodes, the villains and the one-off characters. Lucas's opinion of those videos will be on his channel, and both of those videos, well, all of those videos will be on the archive channel. So you know where to go to find those. But anyway, let's get right into this with number 13, my least favourite out of these 13 episodes, being The Last Laugh. Now, The Last Laugh, in my opinion, is absolute garbage. Its pace is too slow for my liking. I'm not really an overall big fan of too slow of a pace because I'm not a very patient person when it comes to waiting for some action. Zombozo is a kind of underwhelming villain. If he had a bit more development or got to show more of his powers more than he got, then maybe I would like this episode a bit more. But it also has to do with the fact that the aliens that appeared in this episode, which are Ghost Freak, Wild Mutt, Upgrade, and there's another one. I know there's another one. I just can't remember it. With the exception of Upgrade and whatever the fourth alien is, I still can't remember. I'm not a big fan of the aliens that appeared in this episode. They didn't really do much that impressed me. Wild Mutt just got a building crushed on him. Upgrade just knocked out the circus freaks. Ghost Freak killed Zombozo. Took him out. That was something which I liked. That was probably the only redeeming quality there. The lesson's just about conquering your fears, facing them I get it's gonna be a tough thing to do because fears can make you weaker as a person. I know that as a fact because I am terrified of heights. Every time I go up to a high point, my legs just start feeling like jelly, and I would just not want to move at all. However, ironically, I'm really damn good at rock climbing. So I just contradicting myself. Okay, moving on. 12th place is Lucky Girl. Now this one I guess is kind of development for Gwen, but I'm not a really big fan of it. Like with The Last Laugh, its pace is kind of too slow for me. I'm not really all that. Let's have a character or superhero based on luck. Let's see how far that can get you. It was said throughout the entire episode that luck can only get you so far. And have Gwen have the luck? No. I prefer it more when she's a sorceress, in my opinion. Probably like a human sorceress, like actually learning magic from Charmcaster's spellbook instead of being an Anodite, which explains her powers in Alien Force, which is a bit confusing. But so I prefer it being like a sorceress as a human. That's what I prefer. I'm not really a big fan of Lucky Girl, honestly. And the fact her costume's like a black cat, they bring bad luck. And a few other stuff. It's just a bit all over the place, in my opinion. Hex's debut, that was alright. Not a great episode. Not a great overall thing. And the only thing that does go for Hex in this episode is that even if his plan got foiled, he has a backup plan with the Charms of Brazil. No, that was his original plan with the Keystone and in Tough Luck. Watching that, I'm going to be watching that episode later today with Lucas. But anyway, moving on. 11th place is Tourist Trap. Now, Tourist Trap, in my opinion, is an okay episode. Lesson it just teaches you is that that a joke can only go so far, and if you, a joke can only go so far. If you keep reusing it over and over again, it will start to get stale. It'll start to get dry. It won't be funny anymore, and just get boring, eventually. The two main points of this episode, which me and Lucas both like, and that first one is the megawatts with their whole hyperactive nature, laughing at literally anything, and according to the second character I'm going to be talking about, a very dangerous sense of humour. That is the mayor of Sparksville. Now, Lucas originally didn't like this guy, but after watching that episode, he understood why I liked this character a lot, because I like his monotone and his monotone voice and the fact he's so calm throughout everything. And there's a few other stuff about this. Like the start of the story is just like Max taking Gwen and Ben to Sparksville because it'll be interesting. The world's largest fishbowl, the world's largest collection of toothpicks. What was the other one? Oh yeah, the Sideways Hotel, along with a bunch of signs with this is it. Do not touch it. Do not photograph it. Do not use batteries or electrical equipment anywhere near it. This it thing actually drove me insane when I watched this with Lucas, and I would say kind of drove him crazy as well. And then just to have it be a big ball of rubber bands. Excuse me. Why? It's not good. Why is it just that? That is so anticlimactic. And then to have the ending point about it being like, in case of emergency, do not break glass. Okay, that kind of resembles those signs that you see saying, in case of emergency, break the glass, because it's like a fire hydrant or something in there. But that I understand because megawatts, they're dangerous. But that's it, really, about Tourist Trap. There's nothing else interesting about it. Moving on to 10th place, we have Permanent Retirement. Now, this episode kind of was a bit of a boring, really down-to-earth episode, which just follows Ben going to his aunt's house for the weekend. Whilst there's alien invasions going on with the Limax that literally take the old people and marinate them, take them up into space, and presumably eat them. Because if you marinate something or marinate something, that's just to make it add flavour. I know because I did catering course, yay. But that is it. Moving on, there is it does kind of leave off on the cliffhanger of how the Limax could come back because they don't officially die. But if they don't come back, I'll be okay with that because I'm not really a big fan of them. But I will say a quote they had when they were talking to Heat Blast was probably one of my favourite quotes they did, which was the Limax are built for heat. Why do you think we came to the deserts in the summer? I was like, yay, I like this. That is actually one of my favourite quotes from the Series 1 of Ben 10. Not my favourite, but one of them. And then that side character being Marty. I don't know why Lucas keeps calling it Morty. It's Marty. Like the zebra from Madagascar, not like the kid from Rick and Morty. But yeah, it just resembles Freddy Krueger with the long arms, head twisting around. That's actually an Exorcist thing, but it has some horror elements to it, which I kind of enjoyed. And the segment which had Wild Mutt in it was personally my favourite of that episode. The other alien segments with Upgrade, Ghost Freak or Heat Blast weren't particularly that good in my opinion. Wild Mutt, I enjoyed it. Moving on to 9th place, we have Side Effects. Now, I'm going to straight up point out the elephant in the room, which is the obvious. What is Clancy's motive? Because he's either trying to rule over the city with an army of bugs, exterminate the city, or just protect his home. All of which are kind of weird and not particularly interesting, because I can't really explain it. I just, like, most villains are normally like, let's rule this place, but this one, we don't even know what he plans to do. Exterminate it, rule it, or just protect his home. Like, it's all confusing. And then to add on, we have Ben being sick throughout the episode, which causes some side effects with his aliens. We only saw 3 of them with the side effects though, which is Wild Mutt not being able to having his senses blocked up. So I called it his sight, but it's actually his sense of smell which is blocked up, so he doesn't know where he's going. Forearms just stinks, and Heat Blast is the exact opposite of Walking Candle. It's a walking, I don't know, freezer maybe. I don't know. It's cold fire basically. How can a fire be cold? I don't know. Let's watch Land Before Time for that. But yeah, Side Effects. Alright episode. I liked the little add-on of Ben being 6, and it kind of adds an obstacle there. But other than that, nothing else interested me here. Moving on to 8th place, we have A Small Problem. Now, this is one of the 2 episodes in this series which I actually see Grey Matter being proven that he's not a useless alien. This one is personally my least favourite out of those 2 though, because the other one is actually quite good. A Small Problem basically bends Grey Matter throughout the entire episode, which if you're doing what I'm doing currently when watching this series with Lucas, I count every single transformation done. I'm not looking forward for the Master Control one. But basically, this one was an easy one for me because it's just Grey Matter, so I got to put the notebook down, just relax and watch the episode throughout the entire thing. Unfortunately, I don't like the episode because it's knowing that, well, Grey Matter, I must say, not a great alien, but in my opinion, it's alright. But I really wouldn't want to follow Grey Matter around throughout the entire episode. Then to have that weird guy, Hal, just be obsessed with aliens and having that weird relation with the Forever Knights and Enoch just kind of throws me off, because I'm like, why do you have a relation with them when you seem to be doing pretty fine by yourself? And that's pretty much it, really. The story isn't intriguing, and it just follows Grey Matter being chased around by this alien-obsessed guy. Another way to put it, Tom and Jerry, basically. It's basically Ben 10's version of Tom and Jerry. Moving on to 7th place, we have The Kraken. Now, this episode originally was my least favourite. But after rewatching it and realising that, hey, Rip Jaws' first appearance is a good one, and that's saying something, it kind of grew in some respects. Then seeing how good this very simplistic villain is, or how effective he is something else I kind of enjoyed. Because even though he's kind of boring, Jonah Melville, the weapons he has on this boat, being a harpoon, a machine gun, barrels of bombs and a bunch of other stuff, along with a little dagger. It shows he is like he is very effective when it comes to poaching other animals, which kind of shows what his profession is, poaching. But that is it though. The Kraken, I guess, is interesting. At the end of the day, just trying to protect her eggs. Accelerate can run on water. That's another positive thing, especially if you're an Accelerate fan like myself. But that's it. Nothing else intriguing. Just the fact that Jonah's a bit boring but effective. Accelerate can run on water, and the Kraken is not evil. It's just a mythological creature trying to protect her eggs. Anyway, moving on. 6th place, we have the original, and then there were 10. Now, I'm actually kind of happy to have this episode here because since it's here, it shows that, okay, so it's here, but that means there are 5 more which are better than this episode. And there is. Like, this episode was made to not be amazing, but not be awful. It's made to be just somewhere in between. And it does a really effective job at that. It's basically the origin story to Ben. Showing that he's just, at the end of the day, just some average 10-year-old that gets bullied every now and then and wants to be a hero but can't. It's literally every 10-year-old. Unless you're Kevin when he was 10. But more on that later. So, yeah. Just starts out the whole story. Nothing else really. It just has Ben finding the Omnitrix, learning the powers of it with Heat Blast especially. Wildmutt, I guess it's just him fooling around, and Diamond Head, best alien in that episode. Then to have Accelerate make his debut appearance there, just to show off his main power, which I like. That was something which I liked and appreciated. And to have that little moment at the end where Ben got his own back on Cash and JT from hanging him up in the tree. Accelerate hung them up in the tree, which is a reason why I like an episode that will be coming up later in this original series, which I'll bring up in the ranking with that episode in, because that, I believe, makes it come full circle kind of thing. But yeah, and then there were 10. Good start to an episode, not perfect, but that's the idea. It's not supposed to be great. Moving on to 5th place, we have Washington, BC. Now, this is the debut appearance of, personally, one of my favourite villains, being Dr. Animo, with the whole animal mutation kind of thing. This one wasn't a great outing for him, because at the end of the day, it's just saying that he's just salty, I guess that's the word, or mad about the fact that he didn't win a science award, which it's an award, so you should be honoured just to be nominated. But no, because he didn't win, he freaks out and plots his revenge. God knows how many years later. When he got it, Stinkfly smashed it. Well done. Well, made him smash it. That's actually the right explanation of doing it. Anything else to say about that though? His plan, even though not being amazing, the way he executed it was kind of good, with the whole giant frog, giant parrot, giant hamster. Brought back to life mammoth and T-Rex. It's quite good. I like that. Anyway, 4th place is the Alliance. Now, this was actually the first episode of Ben 10 I've ever seen. And I need to be honest, I'm glad it was, because even though I got a bit confused at the beginning with the whole... the fact of why these drones after Ben, I kind of got caught on pretty quickly of why the drones were after Ben, because Vilgax wants to watch, and introduces Rojo, not a great villain but an okay villain. And it has Max going to the hospital with a broken leg. Sorry. This episode kind of felt like a learning experience for Ben. Just go like, oh, I'm a hero now. Everyone around me is going to be in danger. I best be on my own. That is something which I kind of liked. And then to have Gwen having to prove that he will be useless by himself. I need to give credit to that. I liked that a lot and I appreciated it. I liked that a lot in that episode. That, and it had one of my favourite quotes from Accelerate in it, saying, "One good kick deserves another." Obviously in that reptilian-like voice with the whole hissing kind of thing, which I liked. It's Accelerate. What else can I say? Probably my bias towards it as well. And it kind of sets up the finale quite well, with the whole Max knowing more than we think of Vilgax, or this whole fiasco that they're in at the moment. And also it builds up Vilgax for his official outing. Third place is Hunted. Now, back when I was talking about a small problem, I said a small problem was one of 2 episodes which shows that grey matter isn't completely useless. Hunted is the second one. Now, with this one, it kind of like... I'm trying to think of a good way to say it. I'm just going to say it bluntly. The main message of this episode was brains over brawn, might isn't always right and all that. Basically, it's teaching Ben to not always go with strong aliens like Four Arms, Diamond Head, Heat Blast, Wild Mutt, but instead to go for the more slightly weaker ones, which have the advantage in different ways. So like Upgrade with the whole morphing technology thing, Grey Matter with the intelligence, or Stinkfly with the speed. Accelerate with the speed as well, technically. But even though they're not as strong, they are just as useful in different ways. And then to have that moment where Ben flashbacks on what Max and Tetrax says about what he should do is something which I kind of appreciated, especially when it came to the final act when Ben was choosing Alien of what to go into. Personally, if it was my choice, I would have gone with Upgrade, because his opponents are Crab and 6-6, both robotic, morph into Crab, beat 6-6, and then, I guess, dismantle Crab. That's another way to win. But I would say the way that Ben did it with Grey Matter was also quite good as well. Second place... Now, this was a tough choice for me, because Kevin 11 and Secrets are both amazing episodes. But I gave second place to Kevin 11. For the simple reason, it felt a bit more down to earth. If we're going to have a good episode, it needs to be a bit off earth, I guess. Like, not like the average episode. Kevin just... This was like an origin story for Kevin. Just showing that, hey, he's kind of a freak, not really likes around New York, and a few other stuff as well. Nothing really major. But then we find out he has powers of his own. Being able to absorb devices and use them for his own benefit. That has nothing much interest to it though. But when we learn more about Kevin, we learn that, hey, this is probably what Ben would be like if Ben wasn't as kind or as forgiving or caring as he is. If he wasn't, he would probably be the spitting image of Kevin. Not caring about anyone but himself and a bunch of other stuff and all that. Which I think is great resemblance, and was, if you saw the first attempt at the live stream, is the reason why I was so surprised to find out that Lucas wasn't as big a fan of this episode as I was. But yeah, Kevin 11, I really do like this episode. I think the accelerate moment in it wasn't amazing because it was just him beating up a bunch of thugs in an arcade. Ghost Freaks, nothing interesting because he only appeared for 1 minute. And Heat Blasts and Forearms. Forearms is easily the best alien in that episode, beating up Kevin, who had 6 arms at that. And I was like, okay, yeah, I like this episode. And then to have Kevin go through a bridge, yes. There was a few other moments, and then it ends on the cliffhanger of going like, wait, Kevin might not be gone forever, not like the other one-off villains. He might come back, and he does, which is what I liked, because he was a very interesting villain in that one episode, and as the series goes on, he becomes more of an interesting one. But of course, number one, the best episode in this series is Secrets. Now, this one should come as no surprise because when it comes down to it, I like action more when it comes to episodes of a show. And Secrets, I think, prevails perfectly when it comes to action because it's basically non-stop action. It shows Max, it literally reveals to everyone that Max isn't the average plumber, literally. That he's actually worried about what is coming, gets into Mount Rushmore as quick as he can, and we learn that there's a plumber's base inside Mount Rushmore. The first fight of Heat Blast versus Vilgax, and keeps on going. And then Stinkfly versus Vilgax, where Stinkfly got captured, taken onto Vilgax's ship, and then Ben has that weird moment where he transforms into multiple aliens over and over and over again, which I found to be kind of weird, but it was kind of annoying when it came to counting the transformations of that series. But with the help of Lucas, I confirmed that during that whole transformation sequence where Ben went from one to another so many times, Stinkfly was not in one of those. He was in once before with that fight against Vilgax, but never appeared again afterwards, which I thought was kind of weird. But yeah, there's got to be one alien and George Short Straw. And it just, I liked it because it just shows that Ben has to can't just rely on his main aliens. He needs to rely on other ones to help as well. If anything, it kind of reminds me of that small fight that happened in Vilgax Attacks right before the battle against Vilgax, where Siphon, I think his name is, just keeps hacking into your Omnitrix, changing your alien over and over again. Because throughout that game, I was using mainly Big Chill, Spider Monkey, Brainstorm, and what was the other one? Jet Ray. I rarely use the others. But when Siphon does that, I was like, okay, maybe I do need to use the others now. So it taught that one scene in that game taught me that I need to rely on all my aliens and use them all to my advantage, which I did, and caused me to beat the game. It was hard. And I would say that kind of links. I kind of say I had my Ben moment when I had to rely on the aliens like he did in Secrets, like having to rely on what I transform into, use them to my advantage to fight Vilgax, which I appreciate a lot, and I'm glad I got to have that moment inside a game, as all things. But yeah, that is actually all for this ranking. Secrets is my favourite episode of this series. Not my favourite episode of the whole original series, because that belongs to... You know what, I actually do not know, because there are lots of good episodes... Okay, because there are lots of good episodes in the original series, but Secrets is not my favourite of the original series. It's just my favourite series 1. In my opinion, series 1 is probably the worst out of the original series, which is good. So it just shows that, okay, this just gets better as it goes along, which it does. Anyway, that's all for this time. If you like what you saw, leave a like, leave a comment, don't forget to subscribe. press that notification bell down the corner below, and I'll see you next time.